All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Get Fit and Healthy and Look and Feel Amazing call tonight. I just want to start out by saying thank you so much for taking this time out of your night. I know that we all have busy schedules and stuff going on and, other commitments and things like that we kind of have to juggle. So I just want to first honor you for taking this time for yourself, because I know what a commitment that can be. So let's celebrate that first and foremost and pat ourselves on the back for reserving this time and space to do some of the inner work, the most important work really, in not only rocking our dream body, but rocking our dream life, which is what I'm all about. And so to just kind of center ourselves, this is what I like to do on my Immersion Mastermind calls as we get started. I just want to take a minute to kind of release some of the stress of the day and really help us all to get focused and present right now so that you can receive the information that you're here to receive. And so the best way for us to do that is to start by taking some deep breaths. So let's all just take a deep breath in, filling your lungs all the way down as deep as you can go into your lower belly, and then release. Feeling your body relax, feeling any sort of tension that you may be holding from the day, release. Taking another deep breath in. And then imagining sort of this ball of any stress that's left over in your body or that you may be hanging on to, sort of balling up into a tight little ball, and then release it through your breath. And then one more deep breath in. Filling your lungs as much as you can. And releasing. And feeling any last tension in your body, maybe your shoulders, your face, just kind of letting go. And so with that, make sure you have a pen and paper or anything else that you need to be able to take notes. And make sure that also we shut off all other distractions like Facebook and any other dings that we have. I know for me, my text messages show up on my computer and they ding there and on my phone and everything. So as many of those things as you can shut off and put on like quiet mode, the better, because then that will allow you to really focus and really give this your full attention, because that's what you deserve. You really do deserve this time. So just to kind of get us all focused on why we're here, you're in the right place today on this call if you want to be fit, look good, and feel good about yourself. You're in the right place if you want to have higher self-esteem and more confidence in yourself. You're also in the right place if you want to be able to wear anything in your closet with that level of confidence and just know that it's going to look and feel good on you. And finally, and this is the biggest one of all, you're in the right place if you want to be happy, feel fulfilled, and satisfied with not only your body, but your life. So today we're going to be talking about learning the 5 steps on how to ditch self-sabotage and follow through on doing what you say you're going to do so that you can make your dream body and your dream life goals a reality. So essentially this is all about mastering motivation. And that was the question. I put out a survey to my newsletter, and that was the answer to the question of what can I help you most with, and that was what people said, like, I need help with motivation. How can I stay motivated and follow through on doing those things that I say are important to me, that I say I'm going to do? And so I want to kind of start out by saying first and foremost that tonight's call is probably going to be a lot different than what you're used to when it comes to learning about motivation, especially when it comes to your body and fitness. You're probably used to reading lists of foods that you should be eating or exercises that you should be doing in order to lose weight and lean out. Especially right now, with the summer coming, that's pretty much all we see on the cover of magazines is all of these top 10 lists of foods to eat and these exercises to do and everything else. And And I know, both from my own experience and my work with clients, is that that's not really going to be helpful for you. While sometimes, yes, it's important to learn these different things about, what we should be eating or how to structure healthy living, but ultimately, that's not what's really going to transform your body and your life. It's much deeper than that. So tonight we're going to focus on the root mindset stuff that affects everything else up the chain. I'm going to show you how to literally train yourself for success. So, you may have showed up to this call feeling stressed. You may feel like you're disconnected from yourself and maybe disconnected from what you want for your life. You may be just trying to keep up, and you're just trying to keep all the plates spinning and you don't exactly know how to do that. You might be feeling like you're living a little bit of a vanilla life, as my friend Lori Harder says. And, nobody wants to be living a vanilla life, right? We just kind of feel like, well, I just am doing the best that I can. And that's where I want to help you to change and shift your mindset around what's possible for you. Because life is not meant to be one long string of struggles. You are truly meant to thrive. And that's my passion and purpose. That's what I'm all about. If that's exciting to you, then you're going to love this call and you're going to get so much out of it. So grab that pen and paper and make sure that you take notes all the way through. And like I said, I want you to really focus on soaking this up, because listening to this call is one thing, and focusing on it while you're on this call is one thing, but I want you to be able to take the stuff that I'm sharing with you today and implement it and practice it so that it not only becomes a part of what you do, but literally a part of your DNA, who you are, because that's how you make it stick and that's how it becomes sustainable. I'm going to ask you really, though, to be very open-minded and leave what I call your baggage at the door. We all have these stories that we pick up along the way or that we keep telling ourselves, and essentially those stories of victimhood or hardship or the yeah buts or, all of that stuff that has actually been the stuff that's holding us back from living our dream lives is the stuff that we need to start to untangle ourselves from. And so I want you to allow yourself to embrace this idea that living your best life, having this ideal life or having something much more peaceful, happy, free than what you might be experiencing right now is possible for you, even if it feels like a stretch. And I can show you the way, but you have to be open and willing in order for this stuff to work. So I can't do it for you. I can guide you, but I need you to take my hand and come with me on this journey of literally looking at things differently, of opening ourselves up to new ways of thinking and living. And I myself have had to do that too. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because I know what's possible. And so, I in my newsletter and on Facebook, and even at the beginning before I started the recording, I was talking about how I'm going to be a little feisty with you today. I'm gonna lovingly push you and nudge you, because I'm no longer willing to let my people, my community, keep themselves stuck in this small-minded way of living and thinking, in this world of lack, because our world truly transformed based on our beliefs. And that's my belief, or that's not only my belief, it's my specialty. And that's where changing beliefs and changing your mindset is the core foundation work that's going to affect, it literally has a ripple effect onto everything else. So if that sounds frustrating to you or boring, or if that doesn't sound like something that you're interested in, then this would be the time to hop off of the call. And I know that might sound crazy to you, but I just want to be honest with you. I'm not here to give those lists. I'm here to give you the stuff that I know is the stuff that's going to change your life. And I'm here to speak to those people who are willing to invest both time and energy in themselves and give themselves permission to step up and into their power versus sinking back down into limiting beliefs or the lack feeling or not enoughness, which is, it's sad to say, but it's very common and it's very normal. And I'm sure that if that's not you, you certainly know people in your life who do that and live that way. Our limitations are self-imposed. and we truly do create our own reality. And I can show you how this is true, and I can show you how to create a reality that you want versus just the one that you have believed has been possible for you in the past. But you have to be willing. That's the first step. You have to be willing to see things differently. And in order to rock your dream body and your dream life, we have to rework some of this stuff. We have to start looking at the way that you have been living and reprogram things from the foundation up. And that foundation is the mindset. So, that's the way that you approach food. It's the way that you approach life. It's the way that you approach your relationships. It's the way that you treat your body. And it's the place where you put your own desires and your own needs on that list of priorities. You think about it, most times when it comes to motivation, we motivate ourselves through force. We tell ourselves we're not good enough yet, or we're not there yet. We feel shame about our body. We feel shame about who we are at this stage in our life. We feel shame about, our decisions. And that feels really icky. We feel like we're not a success until we achieve X, Y, or Z goal. And, let's get real about that. Like, what kind of life is that to live? Like, how is that working out? And that's the thing that I challenge people on, is to say, okay, what you've been doing has not been working for you. And that's truly how, a lot of us have been trained through this fear-based mindset of way of approaching our goals, but it's not working. Then we have to change the way that we're approaching it from the start. And I will tell you from experience, it's not about getting to the number on the scale or fitting into the skinny jeans, or even in other areas of life, like having a certain number in your bank account, or, having a certain six-figure salary, or having the perfect relationship or the perfect family or whatever. We think these things are the answer to all of our happiness prayers, but they're not. We've just been conditioned to believe that having that fairy tale result, weighing 125 pounds or making six figures or having this perfect family or this perfect friends, like that's going to make us happy. That's going to equal happiness. And it's actually the other way around. Like when you focus on happiness, when you focus on truly loving your life and taking really good care of yourself and motivating yourself by the ways that we're going to talk about today, it affects everything else in the way that actually makes those results show up on their own without that force, without the icky feelings. And it's so much more beautiful and fun than a lot of people can even imagine from the start. And that's where I come in, because I believe in you before you believe in you sometimes. So if you aren't familiar with me, my name is Sheila, and I'm a health and life coach. And I specialize in helping people to break free from yo-yo dieting and self-sabotage so they can feel amazing in their skin. And many of my clients find their way to me because they're frustrated, they're exhausted, they're unhappy, they're disconnected from themselves. They may be even disconnected from their primary relationships, a relationship with their husband or spouse. And they know there's got to be a better way. It's almost like a lot of my clients will literally hit rock bottom, and that's actually a blessing, because that's when we're the most open. They realize that they've been chasing this carrot. This, like, if you imagine this carrot just like hanging out there in front of you, and you just keep chasing it, and every time you think you're getting close, it just moves even further, and you just still feel like you're not good enough yet, and then you feel like, now I need to hit this next level and this next level and lose more weight or make more money. And at some point you realize that it's not about getting the carrot. There's always a new carrot. That's the joy, and that's the fun of life, actually. And that's my belief about life, is that process of having desires and things that we're going after can truly be this journey of freedom and self-discovery and fun. And that even includes our journey related to our body. And it doesn't have to be a feeling of not good enoughness. It doesn't have to be that feeling of when I get there, then I will be happy with myself. And that's something that I personally learned through my own experience of teaching myself how to get out of body jail and how to gain confidence in myself and how to release 35 pounds naturally without restriction and deprivation and good food and bad food lists, and then being able to keep it off and heal my own body's imbalances that actually came out of all of that stress around dieting and restriction and all of the head games I was playing with myself. And then beyond that, beyond my body story, I also have another whole story, a whole journey of rocking my dream life and really doing it through this idea of freedom and fun, leaving the corporate world, starting my own premium fitness and yoga bag company, selling that company, and then focusing on my health and lifestyle coaching practice full time. So, and what I realized in all of that was that in all the times where I was trying and forcing and pushing and striving and, as Gary Vee, he's like a business guy, he talks about like pushing until your eyeballs bleed or working until your eyeballs bleed. To me, that was the farthest thing from what I wanted for my life. And if that's what success meant, I didn't want that. And that's why I found a new way to create success for myself related to my body and maintaining my ideal body and my life as a whole from this more freedom-based mindset. So our body is the vehicle that allows us to go out and experience our life to the fullest. And that's the true gift of optimal health and feeling amazing in our skin. And that's really my goal for today, that I would really love to instill in you by sharing these steps that I'm going to share about mastering motivation so that you can do what you're saying that you're going to do and stay committed to those things that you want to commit to, but not out of a place of proving yourself, not out of a place of or a mindset of when I get there, then I will be happy, but out of a mindset of giving this gift to yourself and those people that you love. Because when you take care of yourself, you show up as the best version of yourself in every other aspect of life. And so I want to open your eyes up to this new, more attainable, sustainable approach to getting your dream body and also being on this journey of creating your ideal life, because that's what we want, sustainability. We don't want to just follow some strict plan so we can get to that number on the scale or fit into those jeans or lose a certain amount of weight for some vacation and then go on that vacation and binge and then like gain more weight than what we were previously. That's not what we want. We want sustainable health. And while we're going to talk specifically about your body goals, like your health goals today, I want you to think bigger than that, because all of these principles that I'm going to be talking about today can be applied to every aspect of life that you might be struggling with, even beyond your body. So tonight we're going to cover the 5 steps on how to ditch self-sabotage and follow through on what you're saying you're going to do so that you can make your dream body and your dream life goals a reality. And I'm going to give you the tangible steps to plug in to your routine, but I'm also going to cover the mindset stuff like I've been talking about all along of why it's so important, because that's why I think that that's what we need to understand. It's why are we doing any of this? Where are we trying to go? So my specialty is really taking the woo-woo spiritual stuff, the stuff that's, talking about energy, talking about all this California stuff. I'm here in Santa Monica, and it's so normal to talk about that here. But to take this spiritual stuff and infuse it with the science behind it so that it feels more grounded and normal, so you can wrap your brain around it and understand not only how it works, but how it will work for you. And so with all of that, let's dive in. Are you ready? So step number 1 to mastering motivation and doing what you're saying that you're committed to doing is, and write this one down because it's very important, uncovering your true why. Now, if you've been a part of my community for any length of time, you know that this is a core part of what I teach. And you may have heard it from other people as well. It's definitely a success principle that is talked about fairly often. But I think the vast majority of people aren't familiar with this. And many of us have never really thought about why. Like, why am I doing this? What's the real reason that this is important to me? Because, again, it's not about the number. We're conditioned really to set goals based on numbers because numbers are measurable. It's a very masculine approach. We all have heard of like SMART goals, a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And of course that's important. Like, of course we want to be able to have a clear picture of where we're headed, and we want to be able to track our progress. But what's more important is really understanding, like, how do you know when you're going to get there? Like, where is it that you're really going? What is it that thing, that data, that number, that goal is really going to give you? And in order to guarantee your success, and that's the important thing, guarantee your success for the long term, you have to make sure that the direction that you're headed, that data, that thing that you're pointed towards, is actually in the direction of your ultimate dreams for your life, for your body, how you want to feel. And that's the key. I want to help you get really clear on what it is that you're ultimately looking to experience. Like, play the tape forward after the vacation, after you hit the number on the scale. All of that, like, what is it that means to you? What does that signify for you? And I'll give you an example from my own life, a couple examples actually. So I mentioned that I worked in the corporate world, and my degree is actually in interior design. So after college, I went into the corporate world, and I worked at a big company for 5 years before I became an entrepreneur. And on that journey, there came a point where I literally remember sitting in my office, staring at my computer screen, sitting at this fancy desk with a fancy view, and feeling empty and thinking to myself, what am I doing? Like, I'm sprinting up this ladder. I'm trying to impress all of these people. I'm doing all of this stuff. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really feel anywhere near as meaningful as I thought it was going to feel. And I felt like this is it. Like, this is all that I worked for. I just felt like again, like I mentioned in the beginning, I felt disconnected from myself. I didn't feel like I really knew who I was or where I was going. I was just doing what other people told me I was supposed to do. And then the same thing happened when I hit my goal weight. I went through and I've dieted, since I was 15, I was dieting in some manner, and I was restricting, and you name it, I tried it. And I finally, eventually, figured out a way to understand me to actually get to my goal weight. But once I got there, it was the same type of a feeling where not only did I not feel fulfilled or happy with myself, I actually felt scared. I felt afraid because I was so scared of gaining the weight back that I had lost. I was stuck in this like weird limbo place of my own imposed body jail, because now that I had reached that weight loss goal that I thought was going to give me freedom, like I imagined myself like running down the beach in my bikini, like free and happy, and all I wanted to do was like stay home and eat chicken and broccoli, because I was afraid if I went out and did anything, I was just going to gain all of that weight back. So what's the solution? The solution is to guide our goals by how we want to feel rather than the number. And Danielle Laporte wrote about this in one of my favorite books, The Desire Map, and she calls it creating goals with soul, like from your heart, from your center, from that inner wisdom within you, and measuring the feeling behind them. So here's your action step. Here's how you figure out where to start with all of this stuff. I want you to take out a sheet of paper, and at the top of that sheet of paper, write down your current goal. So usually that's something like lose 20 pounds, or maybe it's like weigh 130 pounds, or whatever that number is for you, or maybe it's, make 6 figures a year, or maybe it's meet the man of my dreams, or maybe it's get married or have a baby. Whatever that thing is that you think is going to give you that ultimate happiness right now, write that at the top of the page. And then after that, write the question, why is this important? And then answer that. This is important because blah, 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 blah. And once you have that answer, I want you to ask the question again. Why is that important? So as you go through this process, you're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the real reason that this is important. And I want you to actually do that process 7 times, asking why is this important. For some reason, 7 seems to be like the magic number, that if you ask it 7 times, you're finally going to get to that root, true why of why this goal is meaningful to you. And usually, that true why is going to be an emotion. So for a lot of my clients, I'll hear that their root why is because it will allow them to feel peace. It will allow them to feel free. It will allow them to feel abundant. Or one of my favorites is it will allow them to feel unconditional love. And when you get to that heart of whatever it is that is what you want to experience for your life, that's true connection with who you are. Like underneath all of these beliefs and the shit, sorry, I'm swearing, hopefully that doesn't bother you, but I do swear sometimes. Once you like unload all this shit that you've picked up along the way, you get connected to that core part of you, that piece of you that is so true, that knows that peace, happiness, joy, any of those things is actually possible for you right now. Like you don't have to achieve that thing in order to feel that way. And once you understand where it is that you're trying to go, then you can start pulling that into your now. You don't have to wait until you reach that goal in order to feel that way. And it's not that you have to let go of your goal. It's not that I want you to, like, I'm not telling you to say making 6 figures or having a baby or weighing 130 pounds is wrong, because your desires are your desires. And that's absolutely fine and okay and amazing for you to have whatever goals that you have for yourself. But here's the mindset switch, is that instead of motivating or pushing yourself or trying to motivate yourself through this feeling of, I'm not good enough until I get that thing, I'm not good enough until I cross that finish line or succeed in that way, I want you to start understanding that this process of achieving that goal is so much more satisfying when you go after it from a mindset of nourishment, self-love, and self-discovery, and giving yourself permission to start feeling the way that you want to feel right now along the way to wherever you're going. There's a quote from Abraham Hicks that goes, happy with what is, eager for more. And when you get that, you understand that there really is no finish line. There is no point where you will ultimately cross some line and then you're like, oh, I feel peace, finally. It's something that you have to work on every single day right now and use your goals as a way to just continue to expand who you are. It's not a finish line. It's just becoming more and more and more on this fun game of life that we get to be on. So I hope that makes sense. And I could say a lot more of that about that topic, but I'm going to leave it there for the sake of time, and I'll move on to step number 2. So step number 2 is make it easy. So you know why you aren't motivated. It's because what you're doing or what you're trying to do isn't fun and it's not easy. So what's the solution? So I personally, I'm the type of person who, like, when it comes to goals, and this is something that I've gotten to over time and really realized with myself over time, goals in the gym, like I'll set a goal for myself and I'll go after that goal for a little while, and then I start to notice, like, okay, you know, whatever it is, 6 months or whatever, I get bored. And so I have to set a new goal. I have to switch it up and change it up and try new things, not because I'm trying to force my body to do a certain thing. It's just what's fun for me in the gym right now. How can I make this play? And, you know, that's the thing with a lot of my clients. They think that, not my clients, but people who initially speak with me about working together, they think that in order to get their dream body, they need to go from 0 to 60 overnight with changes. You know, they think that they need to do this particular plan, or they need to restrict foods, or, you know, cut out sugar or coffee or grains. And it breaks my heart when women come to me and they tell me, like, I've been trying to lose weight and I've been eating 1,000 calories and I'm working out 2 hours a day in the gym and I don't know what to do. I can't do more than this. And that's where I wish I could just make it better for them, like snap my fingers and show them the process, like, take them from where they are right now and put them at the end of the process, which takes time. Like, it's not an overnight thing, but that's not actually how it works, and that's not going to actually serve them, because the process is where you learn how to become the person who can handle whatever it is that you want to have for yourself. So the goal is to take the next logical step. Make it as easy as possible. Focus on baby steps practiced over time are what leads to long-term sustainable change. So when you think about that, it makes sense, right? Because when you try to do these really restrictive plans, you usually binge. You usually fly way off the wagon. You go from this weird thing of dieting to way off the wagon to back to really strict dieting to way off the wagon. And that's not realistic. It's not doable. It's not sustainable. And it doesn't make sense, but we still do it because that's what we're told to do. So the media is constantly feeding us new diets and so forth. To me, it's so clear, but I know that most people just don't get it. They think that they need to keep trying to force themselves into this way of living that it doesn't feel good. It's not a way of living, really. So I want you to reflect on that in the past. What have you done that hasn't worked? And really, do you want to go there again? Is that really what you want to do? No. Who wants to cut out all sugar and coffee and grains and all these things? If you don't have, a very specific food sensitivity to things like grains or whatever, you don't have to put yourself in those black and white rules of extreme restriction in order to achieve your goals. You just have to be willing to give yourself the time and space and really invest in yourself, both time and energy-wise, to make it a lifestyle, and a lifestyle that feels good, and not expect results overnight. So instead of expecting different results by just doing the same thing over and over again, let's try something new. So rather than focusing on that arbitrary number as your way towards motivating yourself, how about you motivate yourself through small changes? What can you do? And this is your action step. Right now, make a list of the 3 easiest changes that you can implement right now that will support you in nourishing your way towards your dream body and your dream life goals. Nourishing, fueling, really supporting. This is where we're bringing the feminine energy in. This is where, instead of being very analytical and numbers driven, you're going to support your body in working like that well-oiled machine that it truly can be. And so here's some examples. You could ask for help, from your spouse. You could get a babysitter. You could get a house cleaner if you feel like you're constantly cleaning up after everyone else. You could hire someone to prepare your meals for you. And that's the thing, we think that these things are really expensive, but they're not. You can look on Craigslist. You can ask a neighbor. You can talk to people and ask around in your network of who does this kind of stuff that I know of. You can talk to me about making nutrition really convenient, and I can tell you about the nutrition line that I use that really helps people to plug in nutrients in a very easy way. You can hire a trainer. You can ask a friend to meet up with you for 3 workouts a week, not 7, 3. Don't try to go from 0 to 60. Don't say one day I'm not working out, the next day I'm going to try to run 6 miles. Do the best you can today to make one baby step, one sustainable baby step forward. So there's lots of ideas, so that will hopefully get you started. And again, it's everybody's situation is so different, but ultimately I just want you to start taking the pressure off of yourself to try to do it all, and start opening yourself up to this idea that you can make it easier. And sometimes making it easier is as simple as saying no and allowing that to be okay, because you don't have to be superwoman. You don't have to be superman if there's a man on this call. You just have to be honest with yourself about what is possible for you and get the help in the areas that you need it. So number 3, and this is a big one. I could do a call on this one alone. I could do a whole day-long workshop on this, and that is quit dimming your light. And while that might not seem like it has anything to do with motivation, it actually is so freaking super connected to it that, it's like the core principle of why we struggle with motivation. You want to know, like, the secret to never-ending motivation and ending self-sabotage and all of these, like, head games that we play with ourselves. That's what it is. Especially for women. We pick up these beliefs around being that, shining our light, being bright, being too much. Like, we feel these are the negative beliefs around it. We feel like we shouldn't be too much. We shouldn't ask for too much. We shouldn't be too loud. We should just sit there quietly, and we should be pretty, but not too pretty, because if we're too pretty, then that means that we're receiving attention, which is bad, because when you receive attention, sometimes you receive unwanted attention, so you want to avoid that. And it's like, oh my gosh, we just don't allow ourselves to be ourselves because we're so afraid of all of these negative things that people have told us, well-meaning people trying to protect us. They don't want us to be judged. They don't want us to be unsafe, and that's the root of it, really. We have this love-hate relationship with being beautiful. We want to look and feel beautiful, but for so long, so many of us have been told, bad things about being beautiful. Being beautiful is slutty, or being beautiful is this or that, or you need to not be too beautiful. And that's the thing, is like safety. If where we're headed, if where we're trying to motivate ourselves to is unsafe because we're afraid of being judged by being, too thin, too pretty, too mean, too this, too that, too much, too big, too bright, then of course we're going to sabotage ourselves, right? Like, that's huge. It's such a biggie. Of course we're not going to allow ourselves to succeed or get that result because we're afraid of not being safe. So, it's just like, that's a biggie. Write that one down if you haven't already. And I'm sure that you've heard this quote from Marianne Williamson, but I'm going to share it again because it's amazing and beautiful. But she says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Whew! Oh my God, that's good. And it's so true. So let me speak to that child of God within you. And truthfully, that's always who I'm trying to speak to anyways, but I really want to help you to wake her up. And I have a feeling she might have just woken up because I don't know, that was big. It was big for so many women. And I really want to remind you of this truth with a capital T, that I know lies somewhere deep down inside of you, that you already know. You know this. We're just shaking it out. We're just bringing it to the surface. You deserve greatness. You deserve more than just getting by. You deserve to thrive. And you don't lack motivation because you don't have willpower. You don't lack motivation because your inner godness or your inner goddess knows that you're dimming your light. I'm sorry, I meant to say you lack motivation because your inner godness knows that you're dimming your light. You're most of the time trying to motivate yourself by arbitrary things that really don't have any meaning. We're trying to push ourselves towards these things that really don't light up our souls. We put ourselves last on the list of priorities, and we take care of everybody else, and we walk around depleted and, sleep deprived and all of this other stuff. Why? We say that we want to make positive changes, and if we're really being honest, when it comes down to it, we don't really try very hard. And again, I say that with love because I'm speaking from my own experience. Why is something like your well-being and your health and your happiness, which is really the backbone of being alive, so back burner? It's kind of like we say we want these things, but when it comes down to it, it's just not something that we put much attention towards. And I hear this all the time from women when I do breakthrough sessions, and it makes me sad because, they share their struggles and they share their challenges with me, and I ask them to share, what's your big vision? If you could wave a magic wand and you could look 6 months or 12 months into the future and you could tell me this vision of what your dream body and your dream life would look like, what would that look like? And 9 times out of 10, what they share with me is actually very achievable. And I know exactly how to get them there. But when I share the steps that they must begin taking in order to get there, they say they can't. And that's when they shut down and they contract in fear, because they truly believe that they have no other choice but to keep doing what they've been doing. And what they don't realize is that they do have choice. They make choices every single day, and they just keep making that same choice over and over again. And I will tell you, one of the most beautiful things for me as a coach is to witness a woman step into her power, give herself permission to do those things that she needs to do to truly create not only her dream body, but her dream life. And, say to herself, I don't know the whole process of how exactly I'm going to get there, but I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to open myself up to receiving the support I need and to ask for help and to make the changes necessary to not only change my life, but to change my family's life, to really have that ripple effect. Like Marianne Williamson's quote says, when you give yourself permission to shine, you unconsciously give everyone else around you that same permission. And that's the space that I love holding for people, so that, when they see that there is a better way, when they open themselves up to shining and releasing a lot of this shame and, the excuses and everything else that we've had, and I've had them too. I share in my Immersion Mastermind program with my clients my past struggles, like healing my own hormonal imbalances, achieving my dream body by my definition of what that means, leaving the corporate world. That was tough. How many people told me I was crazy when I did that to follow my dreams? Moving across the country, that was another big one. Building a business from the ground up and then selling it, and going through a divorce, and then meeting the man of my dreams. I've been through a lot, and I can share those experiences from this mindset or from this place of strength, knowing that every time you step outside of what's familiar, you're like cracking open that little box around your heart and letting yourself shine. I actually shared a picture of this on Facebook of a statue where it was like cracking open. We get so bogged down in the struggle and strife, and when we give ourselves permission to just crack it open, it's almost like we show ourselves so much more of what we're made of. We surprise ourselves by how strong we are, and then we get down the road 6 months and we reach those goals, or we get to that place where we understand that there's never a point where you're going to have all of your shit together, but you are in a place where you're happy and you're on the journey and you are present and you are focused and you are in your life, not just trying to get through it. Then you get it. All of this stuff that I'm saying right now, you finally get it. That's the thing that I really want to instill in you, is that the process of going through this stuff, even though it's scary, even though shining is something that it may seem so foreign to you, I will tell you that I would never have known how strong and capable and gifted I am if I had not gone through those experiences. I wouldn't have the clarity that I have today about my life and who I am and what I want to continue to expand into if I didn't move beyond what was comfortable for me and give myself that permission. And to just figure it out along the way, because I never had all of the answers at all on that journey. I just knew the next step, and then I knew I would figure it out once I got there. So that's your action step for this one. Again, that was a biggie. But what I want you to do is set a timer for 10 minutes, and I just want you to write that vision you hold for yourself. If you were to wave a magic wand and voila, have your dream body and your dream life, what would that feel like? What would that look like? Who would you have to become in order to handle that? And what kind of support would you need to get there? We're not meant to live on an island just trying to do it all by ourselves. And that was something I used to try to do all the time. And realizing that support is necessary in expansion was, again, another gift that I'm so, so grateful that I finally gave to myself. But, think about that. Becoming the person that can handle it, that is part of the equation. Like in achieving anything that you want, you have to become the person that works through the experience of getting there. You think about the majority of lotto winners that lose all of their money. I don't know what the statistic is, but it's something like the majority of them lose all of their money shortly after they win it. Or people who go on crash diets and lose all kinds of weight. There's all this stuff recently, this talk about the Biggest Loser and people gaining the weight back. Why? Well, because they never learned how to be the person in regular life and making decisions, like normal everyday lifestyle decisions, to show them how to maintain that, to be that at that level. You have to grow. You have to expand into the person who can handle that. And that's what this journey of self-discovery and self-love and everything that comes along with it is all about. It's almost like a lot of times the work that I do with clients, we put a lot of our focus on the idea of this being an experiment. Whether we're working together for 6 months or whatever, it's an experiment of giving yourself that permission to take action, analyze, and adjust along the way, because you're learning. You're giving yourself this container to practice within, and that's where you develop that strength. So, number 4, structure plus freedom, and this is a balance. So this is something that I love talking about, because I think that when we talk about this balance of structure and freedom, it actually helps people to really understand where, in theory, a meal plan or a fitness plan or some kind of plan can really be helpful. But the key here is not to view it as this end-all, be-all solution. It's really just the structure that you need, especially in the beginning, to gain your bearings. It's like your training wheels, right? Think about it. When we're embarking on learning any sort of new skill, we need to educate ourselves. We need guidelines. We need support so that we feel like, okay, I have, a plan of what I'm supposed to do. So that helps us to feel safe and secure. Because again, if we don't feel safe and secure, we're going to just abort the mission. We're just going to fly off the handle because we don't feel safe. So, but here's where most people get off course, is that structure, that plan, is not meant to be stagnant. It's not meant to be black and white. It's just the foundation that you use to then experiment with freedom. So when I work with clients in my Rock Your Dream Body Nutrition Elite course, I have certain structures that I set them up with in the beginning based on their goal. So, they're plugging in convenient ways to properly nourish themselves. They know how much water to drink to start with. They have certain things that they're kind of like, okay, this is my bearings. This is what I'm focused on, and here's how I can set up that structure. It helps them to support their body in, releasing excess fat and feeling safe. Like, that's what we want, is your body to feel safe. And that's a whole nother topic that we can talk about, like the stress response within the body. And when it comes to weight loss, your body needs to be able to feel safe in order to release the excess. So that said, it's not black and white. Together we set this foundation, but I encourage them to go out, live their life, go do things, and not feel confined by this plan. I want them to enjoy their food and enjoy their exercise and their movement and truly enjoy this process of discovering what it looks like for them to build this healthy lifestyle. It's not like I need to restrict to get to that goal. It's how can I build this happy journey along the way that leads to that end result? And so it's that structure allows freedom. This relates back to the masculine and the feminine. The structure is the masculine energy. The freedom is the feminine. It's the yin and the yang. You need both, but the amount of either depends on, and it changes over time. It depends on your particular goals. It depends on where you're at in your journey, and it changes depending on how those things change. So the action step is this. Ask yourself, where am I at on this pendulum or this line of balancing structure and freedom? Do I have enough structure to feel safe? What more support do I need? Or maybe my goals have shifted. Do I need to give myself some more breathing room right now? Maybe you've had structure for a really long time. Maybe you have been on diet after diet after diet. Maybe you have, gotten yourself so caught up in this idea of black and white, right and wrong, good foods, bad foods, and you're pushing yourself so hard in the gym every single day that you need to play with more flexibility and freedom and fun. Maybe that's your goal right now, and you're letting go of any specific numbers-based body goals because you've had way too much structure for way too long. In either case, it's all good. It's all forward progress because you want to get back to that place where you then can, it is a pendulum. You swing to one side, you swing to the other, and eventually you're going to find that sweet spot of structure and freedom that's perfect for you right now. So now we're moving on to number 5. And that actually, this step actually builds on everything else. And that is schedule everything. Now, that sounds kind of masculine, but again, going back to this structure and freedom, scheduling everything, including your self-care, is what you need when you haven't been giving yourself permission to do those things that you know are going to serve you. When you are starting out on a new habit, you're changing behaviors. That's what we're talking about here, is changing the way that you think and changing your habits and behaviors. When you're trying to replace, you can't just stop doing something. So we're trying to replace an old habit, an old way of living and being with a new habit. And in the beginning, I explain it like this. Basically, imagine yourself walking through a field, and you've been traveling this old path through that field for a really long time. So it's very worn. You can almost travel that path with a blindfold on. You know it so well. You're so comfortable with it. Now we're trying to create a new path through the middle of a field with really long grass, right? So it's going to take some deliberate intent and focus to travel that new path and wear that groove just as deeply as the old path. So that's why this scheduling things is so important. So again, it's just you need to plug it in. And I know that we have a lot of people on this call who have crazy busy schedules. They're managing a career, a household, and everything else. And I know that you may be thinking right now, how am I supposed to literally put in, self-care as a scheduled in thing in my calendar? My calendar is changing all of the time. And I will tell you, mine does too. But at least if you have something scheduled into your calendar and you have that time blocked out, then you can arrange it. You can move it around. You can adjust it, as you go. And what I have set up is my computer and my phone are linked. So everything in my computer links to my phone and the notifications go to either place. So that way, even if you move it, it's still in the calendar. and you need this. Like, you need this structure. If you don't plug it into your calendar and plan for it, then 95% of the time it's probably not going to happen. And the same goes for me. Like, I am no better when it comes to that stuff. I have to literally plug in things like my self-care things. So these are things that you think would be like frivolous things, but they are so important to your overall well-being. Things like meditation. So every single day I have a reoccurring event in my calendar for meditation, and that's just 15 minutes. And whether that is meditating, quietly, whether that's following a guided meditation, whether that's journaling and writing in my journal, writing about things I appreciate, making my list of 5 things that I appreciate about the day, whatever that is, that's my me time. That's my inner work time. Then I also schedule my workouts. So I plug those into the calendar. And for most people, it's great to schedule that ahead of time, so that way you can, get a babysitter. You can ask your friend to come join you. You can ask your partner for support during that time so that maybe they can watch the kids. You can plug it into your calendar for work, so this time is blocked out and you're not going to work through it. You're going to get to that class, or you're going to have that time. It's so important to fill your own cup. I also schedule in meals. I schedule in meal prep if I need to. I even for a little while you're going to laugh, this is silly, but I had go to bed in my calendar because I was working out early in the mornings and I was trying to help support myself to go to bed early. And there's a couple times where it didn't happen. And I was out with my sister once and she was like, "Why is your phone telling you to go to bed?" But we need these reminders, and even beyond scheduling VIP appointments and scheduling reminders too. Like, maybe for you, it's drink more water. Maybe that's drink more water during your regular days at work. Maybe that's drink more water when you're out at an important event where you're going to be having cocktails, or even changing your thoughts. Like, you can plug in mantras as well. So all of these things, like when you're like that little wobbly baby Bambi deer in the beginning, you need these reminders. You need these VIP appointments to help create that structure and make it very solid. So allocate the time. It's important. So I'm wrapping up here. It's 5 o'clock, Pacific time, and I just want to kind of start to wrap up from here. I have so much more to share on this, but I really just want to leave you with this, that all of these things, when it comes to motivation, we've covered a lot of different topics. We've covered basically the mindset shifts that are going to help you to see that motivation is not something that's going to come from outside of you. It's not something that you can force yourself to have by setting out your clothes the night before a workout, or whatever these things are that we tend to think, oh, well, that's it. That's what's going to motivate me or get me to that goal. It's really about changing your approach to everything. And when you realize that being motivated and being committed to your goals, it's not about having enough time. It's not all about all these excuses that we allow ourselves to tell ourselves and to tell everybody else around us. It truly is about prioritizing you. It's about choosing you consciously. It's about putting you on the map. And I promise you that even if you're saying to yourself right now, and this is where I really want you to open, instead of constricting into your excuses, I want you to open. Even if you're telling yourself, I don't have a choice, I have all of these other things, I want you to realize that if you choose to put yourself on the map as a priority, it's going to have a ripple effect into every other aspect of life. And if you think about it, think about this, like on a scale of 1 to 10, if you feel like your cup is full because you've been putting yourself on the map, you've been prioritizing your needs, you've been getting really connected to your why and really designing your life around the way that you want to feel, you've been scheduling things, you've been showing up and shining, you've been doing all of this stuff and you feel like maybe you're an 8 to 10 out of 10 on the scale of feeling good, like feeling nourished, feeling like your cup is full. And then say a problem happens or something happens, like say your husband comes home and he's grumpy, or your kids have a bad day and they're freaking out, or something unexpected happens at work and you have to like put out a fire, like with a project. How are you going to show up if your cup is at an 8 to a 10? You're probably going to be in your power. You're probably going to be really creative. You're probably going to be very compassionate. You're probably going to be able to handle it. But what if your cup is at a 2 to a 3? Because you've been clinging to your excuses. You've been telling yourself you can't make any changes. You've been telling yourself you have no choice. You've been allowing yourself to feel like the victim. And your cup is empty. How are you going to show up to that experience? How are you going to show up to your grumpy husband or your kids that are having a bad day, or your career, your team, people that depend on you? How are you going to show up? This isn't a nice to have. This call right now is not like, oh, yeah, I'm going to learn about motivation. This is a must-have. All of these steps are a must-have for you to be you in your life. And so I want you to make a list of all of the ways, big and small, that you can start to receive that support, and that you can start putting yourself on the map and prioritizing you and scheduling in the things that you need and asking for help, with your spouse or your kids or around the house, or, getting a gym membership, like investing in yourself, getting monthly massages, taking bubble baths, reading books, meditating, going shopping with girlfriends. Fill your cup and know that, and don't be surprised when you see how that affects everything else. So many of my clients, like when we do this work together, they think it's, primarily going to be around their body. But then we start talking about how it has a positive effect in their relationship, how they're serving as this better example for their kids, how their career and their work life is taking off, and it's not hard. It feels fun. Because when you get into your power, it really does allow you to show up as that best version of yourself in every other aspect of life. And the other thing is, too, when you start getting into your power and you are in your creative zone and you're happy and you're living your life to the fullest, then you just kind of notice that you don't use food for comfort. You're not emotionally eating. You're not abusing your body in these different ways. Your addictions sort of fall away, and you ultimately, it's like that positive momentum gets better and better. But it really starts with investing in yourself with time and energy. And I will tell you that those times in my own life where I refused to invest in myself, where I said I didn't have the money, or I didn't have the time, or, I clung to my excuses as well, what does that look like? That looks like an empty shell of a woman just walking around trying to do stuff. And that's when all of my health issues got worse and worse and worse. And that's not what I'm here for. That's not what you're here for. And I can give you all of the science and research, and I can teach you all of this stuff, and that's what I do in my courses. But ultimately, this is what I taught you today is what I want you to really get. And I really hope that you heard me today, that you were not put on this earth to survive until you die with a ho-hum status quo life. You were meant to thrive. You were meant to be happy. You were meant to feel amazing in your skin. And hopefully these 5 steps were the jump start that you needed to get rocking. So with that, I will wrap up, and I will open it up to questions. So if anyone has any questions, or if you want to share an aha, or if you have anything that you want to say, I'm going to open that up here in just a minute. But first, I just wanted to share with you that if you feel like this is speaking to you, to that godness inside of you, and you feel like this is what I want, and I know I'm ready, I know I need help, and I need guidance and support so that I can step into my power, then I have a couple options for you to take advantage of, depending on what your current goals are and what you need help with. So next week, I'm going to be opening the doors to 2 new amazing programs. The first one is my Rock Your Dream Body Immersion Mastermind. And this is a 6-month group mastermind program for game-changing women who are ready to step into their power and do the work to own their dream body and their dream life. And so I want to be straight up with you. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for women that are looking to just dabble in this stuff. I'm being really selective about this application process, about who I'm accepting into this mastermind, because I want every single woman who is participating in this mastermind, where we're going to be talking about all aspects of life and supporting each other and really having it all. We're going to talk about health, relationships, wealth, spirituality. I want every single woman that is participating to be 110% all in, ready to rock, ready to do what it takes so that she can really own her power. She's ready for those results. And so if that sounds like something that you're interested in learning more about and having a conversation with me about, I want you to go to sheilaveers.com/coaching and apply there, and put in the notes that you're interested in the Immersion Mastermind. So that's SHEILA, V as in Victor, IERS as in Sam, .com/coaching. The other option I have for you is the Rock Your Dream Body Nutrition Elite. So this is a 60-day challenge. It's really a jump start on incorporating superfood nutrition and an accountability program with weekly Q&A check-in calls with me, meal plan guides, templates, recipes, workouts, and other resources designed to help you release excess weight, clean out your cells, and nourish your way to your goals. And so the super secret announcement part of that one is that I'm actually going to be following the 60-day challenge right along with you. Like I mentioned, I'm switching up my goals. I'm changing up my fitness plan, and so I'll be practicing what I preach right along with you, sharing what I eat, the workouts that I do at home and while traveling and entertaining, because I'm definitely that girl who likes to go out and have meals at restaurants and have a good time, and I travel often, and I will be sharing that with you in this group every single day. So I truly want to show you how healthy can be easy no matter what your schedule looks like. So if you're interested in that, I also want to have you go to sheilaveers.com/coaching and apply there. And just put a note that you're interested in the Nutrition Elite. Or if you're not sure which one you're interested in, but you know you need support, then fill out that application, and we will set up a 30-minute discovery session where we can talk about your current goals, your challenges, and how I can support you. So, and the last thing I want to mention about both of those is that for anyone who schedules a call with me within the next 48 hours, so before the weekend, by the weekend, I have some special bonuses for you that are only available to those fast action people that know that they're ready, that are ready to invest not only time and the financial resources in themselves and put that skin in the game, because I will tell you that is part of the process. Like when you invest in yourself, I cannot tell you the times where I've invested in myself, and it was a stretch. Like I have a coach, I have a business coach. I've had plenty of coaching in my days, and there have been times where I didn't exactly know. Again, like I said, I didn't know how it was going to work out, but I knew I had to do this, and I just followed my intuition, and my life has transformed because of it. So it's worth it. You need coaching whenever you are looking to expand. And so with that, I will open it up to questions, comments, anything that you would like to share. Just go ahead and hit *6 to unmute your line. We have a quiet bunch tonight. Speak up. This is your time. If you need coaching, you need help, you have a question, you have something that you just need to say right now, hit *6 and unmute your line.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
There's a bunch of us, I guess.
Oh, Okay, well, let's go with the first woman's voice first, and then we'll go to the second. Go ahead.
My voice first?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay. Hi. How are you? Okay.
Wonderful.
All I have to say is that this was done perfectly. Okay. Now, because of you, I am where I am. I called you, and it was based on the perfection of your presentation and what you want to offer every one and each one of us is what pursued me to do what I'm doing. And you know my story, okay? But anyone who is on this call, I must say that whatever fear you have, there was a latch, and you took that latch off when you decided to join Ms. Veers, okay? So if there's anything else that you need her to help you with, she is enormously empowered, okay? And she has helped me, and she can help you. And that's what I'll leave you with tonight, okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And will you share your name as well?
Yes, my name is Sohaila. It's pronounced Sohaila. So,
Thank
as
you.
in do, re, mi, fa, so, and hi for hello, and la. Okay? Sohaila. Enjoy the night.
Thank you, Sohaila. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Hello?
Yes, go for it. Who is it?
Hi, I'm new. I've had some personal development before. I still struggle. I don't know why. I still struggle with my body image and everything else. And even though I had so much personal development, I don't know why. And so I was looking maybe if I did a challenge with the whole nutrition. My whole thing is I eat out a lot. So like the cooking and the thing just makes me not like, I don't want to do it because it's too much work. And, I've had some issues before with, foods. So, I thought that nutrition, if I have some structure and somebody was actually like coaching me, not these things that you see online and they just tell you a diet and then they forget about you. You know what I mean? It's not just a diet. It's another way.
Yeah. So what was your name?
My name is Yami, Yami.
Yami. Okay. So it's wonderful to hear your voice, and thank you so much for sharing that. And I absolutely agree that I'd love to have a conversation with you personally so I can hear more specifically about, what you've tried and how long you've been doing this, and more about when you said your food struggles. But what I will say that I think will be helpful just to hear this, and then hopefully helpful for anyone else on the call, is that it truly is about customizing it to you. And, I think that especially when we have a lot of confusion around what's right and wrong, and we've been researching for years and trying to figure it out. I know personally for myself, bouncing around from diet to diet, I was very disconnected from my own body, so I didn't really even know what felt right to me. So that's where having the coaching and the support is very helpful, because I can help guide you to having the structure to begin with, but then giving yourself that freedom to experiment with like what works best for me, and how, I'm nourishing my body, but what sort of structure, or like how can I allow myself to be able to go out and, have fun and do different things, but do it in a way that feels balanced. And that's where I don't want my clients sitting at home eating chicken and broccoli every night, because that's not living. Like, I want to give you the support and the simple ways to nourish your body so that it can work like that well-oiled machine that it truly is, but then also go and have fun and live your life, and not be consumed or obsessed over food, because that's what happens is like we get so focused on doing it right that we're like thinking about food all the time, and it just becomes this like really exhausting thing. So that's where the nutrition plan, the Nutrition Elite, comes in, is that I want to make it very easy so that it's sort of like we work through and create the customized plan for you, and then it's kind of like set it and forget it and go live my life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that that makes sense. I just want to see like for me it's structure, and coming from I used to do bodybuilding shows, so I was very structured, but that was just like unrealistic eating. So I want
Mhm.
something that's more real, that more
Yeah.
that's more me. You're not going to eat chicken and broccoli 5 times a day. I mean, that's just not realistic.
Yeah. And that's where we can work together to figure out what that looks like. So, yes, I would absolutely love to have a conversation with you. And so basically just go on and fill out the form on sheilaveers.com/coaching, and we can set up a call in the next couple of days.
Okay. Okay, that sounds great.
Great. Thank you so much for speaking up. I appreciate your courage because I know that a lot of people benefited from you guys sharing tonight. Anyone else have any questions? Any last thoughts, ahas, anything else you guys want to share tonight?
Sheila, hi. It's Mary Kate O'Reilly. I was just going to ask quickly, Colin from Chicago. I've made some life transformations over the last 4 or 5 years and have released quite a bit of weight, and I'm very happy with where I'm at in my life. I've got a daughter who is struggling, and she continues to ask for help. And my coaching, probably some of the most exact words of yours of things I've struggled with till it took me to get to 50 to realize that, I'm number one in my life. I need to have, somebody help me coach my daughter. And so I really am interested in having a conversation with you offline. I didn't really want to come off mute in case she comes back to listen to the call, but, I wanted to chat with you a little bit about some of the demographics of the people that you guys are working with, maybe the age groups, successes that you've had with young adolescents, somebody who struggled pretty much her whole life with weight. Be 27 here next week, but my coaching is just causing more fear, anxiety, and doubt, and she pushes me away. So I need some help and wanted to chat with you a little bit about that potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said she was 27?
She's 27, June 6th. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and a lot of times when we're trying to help those people that we love the most, that's what happens. Like and even so, I had a similar situation with my boyfriend where he came to me and he said, I'm ready, I want to lose weight. And I was like, awesome. I'm going to introduce you to one of my friends who's a coach because I know that, like, me coaching you is not at all going to be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And he, that's what you need is, like, that outside person who's not so close to the situation to be able to guide you through the tough stuff, and it's one thing to hear it from your mom or your girlfriend, but it's another to hear from that other person that you sort of see as an expert in a way that you maybe don't see that person that's close to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I like the opening statement when you talked a little bit about your goals, and then to get down and write those 7 different times to find out what's the real why in life. And I think as a young girl, if she can learn that now, she'll have an amazing life her whole life. I just don't want her to struggle, and I can't help her myself. So I will reach out to you offline and have a conversation with her, and then I'll try to work with you to figure out how to approach the subject, because I think she's ready, but she's just she lives in Florida, so that's good, but, she's just not motivated to get herself started, and she needs some accountability and somebody to help her, and I think that you might be the person for me. So I just want to kind of come off mute and let you know I'll be reaching out to you to see if you could help me there.
Awesome. Thank you. I am absolutely honored and excited to be able to support her in this. So I look forward to your email.
Thank you. And thanks, everybody, for joining. I appreciate meeting all of you over the phone.
Yeah. Me too. I love hearing your voices when you guys come off of mute or in the beginning when we're saying hello. It helps me to feel your energy, like to know you're there. It feels good because then when I put you on mute, I can't hear you. I'm just talking. But I imagine all of you there. I can see your phone numbers. I know we've got you on the line. I just want to connect with you in that way. It feels good. Anyone else? All right. then I will wrap up there. I know I kept you a little bit longer, so if you're still on, thank you for hanging in there with me and hanging in there with yourself. And again, spending this time really doing this work that truly, truly will change your life. So with that, everyone have a wonderful evening. And if any of this resonates with you, just set up a call and let's talk. Like, give yourself permission to take that next step. That's all you need to see is that next step. And like I said, it's my honor to be able to support you in this journey and to help you through the stuff that I know from my own personal experience and for working with hundreds of clients on supporting them in not only stepping into and rocking their dream body, but really giving themselves permission to have that dream life. So take care, everyone, and I hope to speak with you soon.